If you had met me at 24 and asked me what I wanted, I would have given you a very confident, very polished answer. I would have told you about the career trajectory I was on, the city I wanted to live in, the kind of work I found meaningful. What I would not have told you, what I did not yet know how to tell myself, was that almost all of those answers had been assembled by scanning the room and figuring out what would land well. I was not lying exactly. I was performing. And I had been doing it for so long that I had genuinely lost track of where the performance ended and I began. It started early, probably in school, where I learned that being impressive was the most reliable way to feel safe. I was the student who always had an answer, the friend who always had a plan, the person at the party who seemed to know exactly who they were. That image was not entirely false, but it was curated, constantly, exhaustingly, in response to what I sensed people expected. By my mid-20s, it had become a full-time internal job. I chose my postgraduate program partly because of how it sounded when I said it aloud. I stayed in a role that was making me miserable for 8 months longer than I should have because leaving would have looked like I could not handle it. I filtered my sense of humor, my actual opinions, my unconventional interests through the hypothetical judgment of people who, I would later realize, were far too absorbed in their own lives to be scrutinizing mine as closely as I imagined. The clearest moment came when I was 29. I was having dinner with one of my oldest friends, Natasha, and she said something with the specific bluntness that only a decade of friendship earns. "I never actually know what you want. You always tell me what you think I want to hear." She said it gently, not unkindly, but it landed like cold water. I deflected in the moment, laughed, changed the subject, but I could not stop thinking about it for weeks. Because she was right. I had optimized so hard for being liked, admired, and approved of that I had no reliable access to my own preferences. I did not know what kind of work I actually found meaningful versus what kind looked meaningful from the outside. I did not know which of my friendships I genuinely valued versus which ones I maintained because they reflected well on me. I did not even know what I wanted to do on a Sunday afternoon without asking myself what I should want to do. The work of rebuilding that, of finding something underneath, the performance was slow and uncomfortable in ways I had not anticipated. Therapy helped. So did deliberately making small choices that no one else would see or validate. Reading books that were not impressive, spending weekends alone doing nothing productive, changing my mind in public without apologizing. The approval did not disappear overnight, and I will not pretend I do not still feel its pull sometimes. But at 35, I know the difference between a decision I made and a performance I gave. And that difference, quiet as it sounds, has changed everything.